Well, joining us now is Leah Aharoni. She is the COO of Va'ad Atzla, an organization that's been helping Jews in Ukraine and Russia throughout the war. So let's break down this budget and how it's actually going to be divided.
Hi, how are you? So actually, the plan on how the budget is going to be divided is not in place yet. The different government ministries are going to discuss that issue. But what we already know is that this budget is a drop in the bucket for what is actually needed to bring over and absorb the Jews that are going to leave Russia. You have to understand that there are 3 steps that need to happen here. We've seen these 3 steps since the breakout of the war in Ukraine. There is the refuge, then there's the refugee services in Europe or in Asia for Russian Jews, and then there's actually resettlement in Israel. So Russian Jews are seeing a very big difficulty in leaving Russia, and they will need more active Israeli involvement as that. There are obvious diplomatic difficulties with that, and so the Israeli government is considering setting up refugee camps, displaced person camps in either in Europe or in Asia, where people would spend some time before they could be brought over to Israel. But so the exact breakdown of this budget is not clear, but it's not what's necessary to get the job done.
So what has life been like for immigrants who have arrived in Israel so far? What is life like when they arrive? Is Israel properly prepared?
Unfortunately, Israel was not properly prepared for this wave of immigration. It caught everybody by surprise. It caught the immigrants by surprise, and it caught the government by surprise. Both the government and the Jewish Agency have done a lot to assist the immigrants in helping them get out and then in absorbing them in Israel. But the government was definitely not ready. For example, I'll give you one statistic. Over 40% of people who have come over the past 6 months have not started their Hebrew classes until just now, 6 months after they're in the country, because the government didn't have enough teachers. There's a lot that needs to be done in terms of job placement, in terms of educational programs that are just not in place for the children, and so on and so on. And this is where organizations and NGOs come in to supplement what the government has not done. But this budget of $25 million is literally a drop in the bucket. The numbers are probably at least 40 to 50 times as high of what would be needed to bring people in and resettle them properly.
All right. Well, I'd like to thank you so much for joining us and kind of giving us some insight as to what's happening on the ground.